welcome to Teenage. I'm Tony, and for this segment, I will be your love counselor. We will be talking about how love can go astray. And also, the next segment, Jason Lanham, one of our cast members, caught up with the pop band Roxette, who also sings about love. Now, guys, to start off, I want to know, can teens really be in love?
I think so.
Why do you think so, Tom?
Well, Tony, the reason I think that is because I think that we have the ability to really care for another person, even though, our parents may say, you're too young, you don't know anything. I think that, we can love people in our own special way.
So you don't think it's like in-depth love? Is it just like a puppy love sort of?
I think it can be.
I think teens can definitely be in love, and I think they can be in what adults see as being in-depth love. But I think when you become an adult, relationships change and people change, and I think that's why they see love as something totally different, because you look for different things at different points in your life.
Love all of a sudden means trying not to fight over paying the bills. And
that's a part of it later on, yeah.
I think also that teens can be in love. Sometimes teens think they're in love. Often they think they're in love. But I think that teens definitely are capable of being in love.
I know teens.
I personally know teens can be in love.
I mean, I love my dog. In love?
It's just a feeling
It
you
just
have.
hits
It's not like, when to separate love, like when you think you're in love, and love when you are loved. Love when you think you're in love is just like, it's so, the first time I thought that I was in love, it was just something overwhelming. I was with a boyfriend, and it was just like, I was a freshman in high school, so it's like, everyone paid attention to me because I had a boyfriend, and it was just a big thing, so I thought I was in love.
I think it's really hard to determine whether you're in love or not when you're a teenager, because it could be just like, a crush.
Well, why do you have to determine?
I know, I don't understand.
Exactly.
I agree with you. I think, when you start something, anything new, you find this feeling with anything new, this new feeling of like, wow, what is this? So you think you're in love, or you think it's love that you're feeling with a lot of people.
But eventually
sometimes.
that goes
away.
away.
But when it dies out, that's when you find out when if it's really love or not. Because after the newness of it dies away, and you start getting bored, and you're like, oh, maybe I don't like this guy, then it's not really love. But if you wait out that time, I mean, if you can stick it out through this time, and things keep on coming up new.
Yeah.
I think that's love.
How about you, Tim?
Well, love to me, I guess, is not one of those cut and dry things. It's you have
nope,
to
not love.
You have to determine that by trial and error. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the only way you can distinguish what you really like.
It also stands like time and space, you know what I mean, and bad things.
Space.
And even if, seriously though, if two people are really in love, it doesn't matter if the one goes to college 60 miles.
When love goes astray, now, how do you guys deal? Can teens have heartbreak? How do you deal with it?
Yeah, teens, or do
Definitely.
they?
Do they? Okay,
Yes,
Melissa,
and both. The first time that I had my heart broken was freshman year. Yeah, that same year. And that's when I thought I was in love. But I mean, when I had my heart broken, it was the worst feeling in my whole life. I thought that my world was over. I thought that I would, I told myself I'd never love or supposedly love anyone anymore, ever again. And it's the worst thing to ever go through. But eventually, it just passed over, like Shannon says.
You know what I found out? That like when I was dumped, and then when I was dumped, that's basically the word. I mean, I was so depressed, and then even though I might not love that person so much, it's just really depressing because they dumped you, and you wonder
Hurts your ego.
Why it was not good enough? Why was I? That's the question.
That's the question that goes through your mind. And I always find that when the girl gets dumped, she always wants to go back to the guy, even though there might not be anything there.
I disagree. Not true.
Okay.
I think that because I find a lot of times that a person I've been in love with who has hurt me, it's because what really hurts the worst is that they were my friend. That's one of the things I loved about them, and now it's a betrayal because you feel like they betrayed you. They were your friend, and they're not there anymore. You miss them like crazy, not just as your boyfriend, but as your friend. But you also tell yourself that if you thought that was great, there must be something even better out there.
Well, this is why I think that, let me just say something about
you don't always want to go back.
That's why I think heartbreak is such a silly thing, is because people have the wrong idea about a relationship, especially a boyfriend, opposite sex relationship, or, depending on what you are. You go into a relationship. If I was to meet you on the street and we became friends, would I go, I wonder how long this relationship will last with Melissa?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. But as soon as you start dating a guy, you're like, I wonder if this will last for a long time. You get all excited about it.
And another thing too, it's like, with heartbreak, you realize that's another thing to show if you're in love or not. Because when you break up with someone or someone dumps you, you're hurt for a while. But then, you're like, oh, I'm so depressed. God, did you see that fine guy just passed right there? You know what I mean? And you're over it, like a couple days later, a couple weeks later. But if you're in love and, your heart is broken, because there's always that, there can be one-sided love.
So basically, it could be mended quickly.
Do you guys think that you have to be in love in order to get your heart broken?
Heck no, honey. You don't even have to like the person.
That's what I said. I mean,
It's a letdown
you might
to
not
the
be
ego.
totally crazy about the guy, but just the fact that he dumped you kind of hurts your ego.
It hurts you just to think that you weren't good enough for them.
Right,
Even if you really didn't care that much about him, then you start to wonder, well, what could I have done differently? Do other people feel this way about me?
Yeah.
How about that like Melissa brought up the one, like Melissa brought up that one-sided love, that maybe I only love the guy, but he doesn't love me, and doesn't that kind of ruin the relationship a little bit? It
Doesn't it kind of? Yeah.
Eventually, that will end it.
Because it's like, well, I wasn't in love with someone, but when I went out with this other guy, I liked him a lot more than he liked me at that time. And so, he broke up with me and he was just like, oh, whatever. And now it's like, it had to do with, like physical looks. I was just a little unattractive back then. And now he bumped into me and he's like, hey, why don't we go out and do something? Now I'm like, excuse me? You know what I mean? Because it kind of does hurt your ego, but you get over it.
Yeah, like I said, it's a stepping stone. Everything's a stepping stone. You
Like-
learn and it's a spiral. It's a constant spiral upward. You keep on moving up and you take things with you that you like from certain people that you meet along the way.
Plus, don't you feel like sometimes you're like blind when you're going out with someone, that your head's in the clouds saying, oh, I'm in love with him, this and that, and then you find out afterwards.
In the beginning.
But even after you break up with someone that you thought was a really great person, all of a sudden you get this bitterness stage, and all you can
That's
think
maturity. That's just plain and simple maturity.
all you can think about is the certain things that went bad, and you realize what went wrong, and you realize how, yeah, you're right, it's a maturity thing, because then you realize.
Then afterwards you realize what was bad, what was good, and then you take with you
and
what you like.
And also,
This is something that I think too many people say when you break up. Just walk on, walk on. I don't think you should walk on or walk away. You should walk with you.
Yeah.
Let it drop and let it walk with you as a person, what you became from
I
that
think
person.
that brings up the question about when you're going out with a friend. You're friends with this guy for a long time, or girl, and you decide maybe we should be more than that. Would that hurt the relationship?
Well, how would you know if you're friends for a long time? How would you know if this was just a friendship getting stronger,
when you start
or if it was
kissing and
love?
stuff like that. Oh,
Well, it's a really tough decision to make, because it could either really hurt your relationship like forever, or it could make it a lot stronger.
Make it
I
or
think
break
too,
it.
it depends how you go into it. Because with one of my very, very world's closest friends that is a male, it's like we were at that stage, like, do we want to jump into that being, boyfriend and girlfriend stage? And it's like, we didn't think about it. We're like, forget it, whatever. And, we got together and, we're just like the best of friends.
Because I think if you really are friends, trying it won't hurt you.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just a matter of taking steps. Like Shannon says, it's a spiral. Don't hold back. Just go and learn by your mistakes. And, if this doesn't work out, then I have characteristics of him that I like and that I would like to find in another man and build on that,
Right.
When Harry met Sally.
Okay, now Tim, you're friends with everyone. You're Mr. Social Butterfly. How do you feel about this?
Well, I don't know directly.
So, I know
you're
he's
such a
friends
butterfly,
with
Tim.
everyone at school. I mean, how do you?
Oh, is he?
Well, I don't know. It kind of comes in handy. It has its ups and downs. I mean, being social, you can find, you can look at people and say, well, I know how he is. I know how she is. I've heard things about her and stuff like that. But then that's when you can just kind of, that's when you can just pick, in a broad situation like that. Then you can pick out your traits there. What you liked about this person, and then you find one person.
But you don't find someone. I mean, it's always the oddest places that you find.
Bump into each other.
I'm dating a guy that I knew when I was like in 7th grade. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and we didn't talk for a couple of years. I bumped into him at a party, and it's like, I'm dating this guy. I've been dating this guy for like 6 months, and it's like, why didn't I realize these traits before then? You know what I mean? It's true. You pick them out as you go, but you never go out and search for this person. It always just hits you.
And that's weird too. I think I'd rather find a boyfriend just bumping into them. I never, like the fact of going out looking for boyfriends.
Right.
because it's like you're looking for too much. You're looking for specifics, and you know, when you start, if you look for someone and you think, you know, oh, they're ultimate, then you get to learn about them and you figure out, God, they're nothing like I thought they were gonna be. You're gonna be so disappointed.
And you know what puts a damper on the relationship at times is when you always plan ahead, and then I think that leads more into a breakup situation.
Marriage?
When you're thinking about, there's kids these days that are talking about marriage, and maybe they are in love or what, but then you hear about like a week after they broke up. So I mean, there's two sides.
Yeah, there are the relationships.
Well, see what the
that
mistake
High
with
school
that is?
sweethearts.
The mistake with that is because when you're in a relationship and if you're feeling this extraordinary feeling and you don't know any way to describe it, and love is the only way to describe it, and people make mistakes of momentary feelings for long-term feelings. I mean, there's a lot of times that like people that I know or my boyfriend will say, "I love you," and the next day it's like, "I don't want to even see your face."
I think that's
you know,
love,
and
when you can actually tell somebody how you really feel, and then you can share your feelings with someone, and even if it might disagree with their beliefs or might make them upset, and you still love each other or care for each other. That's love.
You know, and another thing too is there's like a lot of seniors at my school who are leaving, and who are in love. You know, they are in love. You know, and it's like the way to tell if you really love a person is like. Sometimes, I feel like if you love someone, you will, if you really truly love someone, it's like you loving a relative. You will always love them. If they went to China for 5 years and came back, you're not gonna say, "Ugh, who are you? I don't love you anymore."
Right.
You know what I mean? You will always love them.
So if you break up, you always would love that person?
Yeah, you will always love that person.
Is it true that you always love and you'll never forget your first true love?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that old yet.
I really don't.
But you don't. That also doesn't mean you always go back. It also means you realize that you've grown apart from this person, you loved him so much, and a part of your heart will always love that person, but that doesn't mean you can't move
Do you
on.
think there's a chance you could go back though, once you broke up?
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, it's
It happens all the time.
Well, what if you were going out with somebody who you cared deeply about, and you guys were separated, and then would you be happy if you broke up with your boyfriend, would you be or if you were going out with your boyfriend, you were two different sides of the stakes, would you be happy if he came to you and said, I know you wouldn't be happy, but how would you feel if he came to you and said, Shannon, I love you a lot, but this long term is not gonna work, and I found somebody who I really love, who I found here.
See, but that's the thing. I would be totally hurt. But what can you do?
But how would you react to it?
Yeah, would you go bonkers or whatever, or psycho? Because there's some people who just can't.
Would you
deal
be
with it.
happy that he came and trusted your friendship enough to come and tell you rather than you finding out 8 months later?
Well, I also think communication is the strongest part of any relationship.
That's what I'm saying.
Boyfriends, girlfriends, just friends.
Well, just a quick question. How do you guys feel if you break up with somebody and then a couple weeks later you see them walking through the halls holding someone else's hand? Do you feel happy for the person because they're happy again?
Well, I think
Shannon.
that hurts me.
It's
Oh
never
my
happened to
gosh.
me.
You're gonna be hurt.
It
It's
happened
life.
to you?
It's never happened to me.
It's jealousy.
happens.
It's
Good
jealousy thinking that you're replaced.
I don't date anybody who goes to my school. It doesn't- I don't have to learn
Well, I
about
think it would bother me because it's like 1 minute you were there, 1 minute you're not. So really, you didn't.
How
really,
easily replaced you.
Yeah.
can be.
Why does this happen to you?
No.
I'll
I'll not elaborate. But people totally overreact to these things, I think. You see people, she has pierced my heart, I will never love again. It's like, snap out of it. You're in high school.
But still, I hear parents, I hear everyone saying that, I hear all my friends saying that, and we say that to some of my friends. But you have to admit there are a percentage of people out there who are in love, end up getting married and having families and living together for a very long time.
This is
That
true.
is love.
So that's why I try
Sing
not.
it.
That's why I try
that's
not
a
to put
happy
down.
ending.
That's why I try not to put down people and say, "Oh, you're not in love," because I'm no one to say that.
I was someone to say that. I am a hypocrite. I am a complete and utter hypocrite. I once said that there's no such thing as teenage love. You cannot love, you cannot love, you cannot love. And
And now Shannon.
I'm a hypocrite.
But so now she's gonna learn just as I have, not to
Just
make
as I have.
judgment.
Open your mouth.
All of you out there. Well, guys, get your snack and come right back. If you have any suggestions or ideas, write to Teenage, care of Continental Cablevision, 688 Industrial Drive, Elmhurst, Illinois, 60126.
How well do you know the person you're intimate with? Let's say you've had 2 sex partners in the past year, and each of your partners had 2 other partners the year before, and so on for the last 9 years. It's as if you've slept with 512 people. Any one of them could have given you the virus that causes AIDS. Find out what to do now. Call the toll-free Illinois AIDS hotline. All calls are anonymous.
Looking for Mr. Right? Turn to Nick at Night. For TV Land's most eligible bachelors, like the strong silent type, meet Friday, Joe Friday.
I'm not married.
How about a hopeless romantic named Eb?
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways.
Or do you want the boy next door? He's Dobie Gillis.
I'm charming, lovable, clean-cut, winsome, loyal, devoted.
The bachelors of Nick at Night. Sure, they're two-dimensional, but they're not afraid of commitment. They'll be here for you every night on Nick at Night.
Ellis Smith was worried. The stock market dropped 69 points. But what troubled Ellis was, the bluegill just weren't biting. Ellis buys U.S. savings bonds, so he only worries about important matters, like trying a different lure. For safe, worry-free investing, buy U.S. savings bonds.
All right.
Hej allihopa, jag heter Marie.
Jag heter Per och vi är Roxette och du tittar på Tonår. That was Swedish and it meant, hi, I'm Per.
Hi, I'm Marie. And
we are Roxette. You're watching Teenage.
Hi, I'm Tony and welcome back to Teenage. You know those songs that Must Have Been Love and Joyride by the group Roxette? Jason caught up with them at the Park West.
Hi, I'm Jason Lano, and I am here with Swedish pop sensation Roxette. So, how are you doing tonight?
Well, we are feeling very fine right now. We have just
Finish the show.
finished the show, yes.
Yeah, we're here at the Park West in Chicago. Just finished part of your tour that is for the first time touring in North America. How does it feel to be here?
Great. I mean, it's first, like I said, first time we tour here. We know we had a lot of fans here. We had a lot of success with our records, and it's great, you know.
Mm-hmm. How do the fans here, do you see, differ from European fans?
Well, it's not so different. They're a little bit older here, maybe. But it's really great. All of them are knowing all the songs and sing along, and that's fantastic feeling.
Now, many people in this country tend to think that you are, new sensations, but actually, from what I've read, you actually have been in the music business quite a bit. Do you want to tell us a bit about your earlier years?
Sure. We started out having solo careers, separate solo careers, singing in Swedish. Mm-hmm. I sang with EMI Records 1979, which is like 200 years ago. And Marie sang in 1982, I guess. Mm. So we've been around. We started Roxette back in 1986. So the first international record was Look Sharp, which came out in '89. Mm-hmm. And so, we've been around.
How did you end up getting together?
It's just we felt that we wanted to do something in English, and we have always supported each other, each other's careers at home in Sweden. And like Per said, in 1986 we started Roxette, and in the beginning it was just for fun, just a hobby project, but then it went so well, so here we are now with over 8 million albums sold of Joyride. That's fantastic.
That's great.
So you've actually known each other for quite some time.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Have you seen, has your friendship changed with the career or anything, or do you think it's brought you closer together as people?
Well, yes, of course we are. I mean, we're working so much together, so close together, and so we have kind of a brother and a sister relationship. And it's a very special relation. And when you're working so much, traveling everywhere, you have to really take care of each other.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your songs for a while. Now, what is the main message you find through your songs?
It's lyric-wise, it's basically about relationships, emotions. It's up or down, It's things that most people can identify with. Basically, when I write songs, I basically write them for myself, And it took a couple of years, to realize that people liked it, But that's the way. You don't really think about. I have to write about this, I have to write about that. You try to please yourself. Sometimes you just play around with words. Joyride is like a sort of magical mystery tour, pop lyric. Listen to Your Heart, for instance, is about a friend of mine who went through a very tough divorce. So it could be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But basically, what we're trying to do with our music is to communicate. Having people have a good time. And feeling happy, feeling sad, you know, sort of communicate.
So how's the tour been going so far? So far you've covered Europe?
Europe, yeah, 46 shows in Europe and 10 in Australia and 6 or 7 up in Canada, and we have 60 more to go. So tonight was the number 64, actually. We have 60 more to go.
64th, folks. Imagine that on the road. So starting to feel the pressure yet, or?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
It's just fun. I mean, we have a great band traveling with us, and so we have just a lot of fun. It's fantastic, and so far it's so many different venues. I mean, in Europe it's so big, so it's just really, really big venues. And here tonight was a small club in Chicago. This was fantastic. I mean, it's totally different. And you in a small club like this, you're really getting close to the audience, and that's really nice.
Now, you write most of the lyrics, correct? Where does the music come in? Is that done by the band, or?
No, I basically write the music.
You write the music too. Do you try to reflect the music to the lyrics, or do you just try to play with different types of music, or?
No, I mean, the whole idea when I write songs is to sort of make the lyric and the music say the same thing, you know? It's like when you do a video, for instance, you try to make the video and the song say the same thing. But, I mean, that's just the way I work. You know, I'm really influenced, as well as Maria, we're really influenced by the 60s, late 60s and the early 70s when we were like growing up. So that's what we were all about. You know, we tried to take the late 60s, early 70s into the 90s. You know, use a lot of technology, but still everything is based around melodies. You know, songs. We're really a song-oriented band.
Now, I read that the Beatles inspired you.
Yeah, a lot. You know. Without the Beatles, we probably wouldn't be here. We'd be there.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering where you got the name Roxette. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, it's from an old song with a group called Dr. Feelgood from England. And I think it was their first single was called Roxette. And we took the name because we really liked the group and the band and the song. And it's an easy name, easy to remember. In the beginning we had problems with the name because people thought that my name was Roxette. It's a girl's name.
So that was the manager or something.
But now it's people know that there's two of us, Roxette.
How do you think that Joyride, overall as an album, has been different from the previous albums like Sharp, Pearls of Passion?
I think Joyride was easier to do because it was easier to write and easier to record because we knew the direction we want to go into. You know, we worked on Look Sharp. It was the second album, and it takes a while for a band like us or a duo like us to sort of find what you want to do. You know, Joyride was much easier.
You think your success has made it easier?
No, the success actually has made it harder because you're always working under pressure. You know, coming up, Look Sharp was like over 6 million worldwide, and everyone said, "How can you follow this up?" You know, and the only thing you can do is say you can't really think about it in that way. You know, otherwise you're gonna go crazy. You know? You have to collect a lot of songs. You try to develop all the time. Sort of, we wanted to make an album that was easy to perform with. You know, a lot of guitars, and. Well, because we wanted to go on the road. So.
Have you found that your success has, helped you? I know someone told me about a new automobile that you purchased that you're very proud of.
What can that be? The Corvette?
No, I believe it was a Mercedes.
A Mercedes, yeah. That's another one.
So obviously success has its advantages.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think we can see as the future of Roxette?
Well, hopefully next time we come here to Chicago, we play in a bigger place. Well, I think that we are going to record and write songs as long as we feel that it feels good, and that as long as we have a good time together, and we hopefully start to work on a new album in '93, and then maybe we hopefully go to another tour. But you never know. So far, we have a lot of fun, and hope that it continues.
Well, there you go, with #1s all around the world. If Roxette happens to be in your town, go and see them. Trust me, it's a fabulous show.
Yes.